Welcome to the second round of the Legacy Challenge. This time playing with the correct avatar. You can see it here. You can only see the life total. I can actually like wiggle my fingers around it and kind of touch it without having like the weird background. Oh, it looks really cool in OBS in the preview window. It's like, whoa, 20. Yeah, okay. We are up against a guy who I don't know what he's playing. Actually, I also don't remember what he's playing, which makes it even more interesting to evaluate my first hand. We are on the play, which always helps. The hand isn't fantastic, but I fully expect myself to keep this hand. Like, Cradle is so tempting. Like, if I could play more than 4 Cradles, I would probably play 7. Maybe even 8. Cradle is just so busted. And, like, we already have half of the best friends team. We've got a basic land if he plays, like, crazy deck. We got this for Chalice. Like, there's a lot of bases that we are covering. The only thing is, like, we are not doing anything crazy or explosive yet, but we can always get there. So I would definitely keep this hand and lead on Quirion Ranger, because here we don't need acceleration because there's nothing really, not lead on Quirion Ranger, there's nothing to accelerate into. And since we don't need the Ranger yet because we have tons of mana, playing the Misty Rain first is fine to get Dryad Arbor in case we need it. And to also, like, kind of not yet give away that we are on Elves. Opponent plays Seed of the Synod, and now I remember what he's playing. I first thought he was playing, like, Mono Blue Painter, which I've encountered a couple of times, but turns out it's something else. Also, suddenly this guy got so much better. We are going to fetch Dryad Arbor here, because a deck that presents Seed of the Synod and Mox Opal, unless it's Affinity that has the red burn spell, probably won't kill the Dryad Arbor here, so it's a pretty safe card to get. And since, like, one of the potential outs that I can see in the long run is getting this for a Card of Behemoth, it's totally worth getting the Dryad Arbor here. Even though I will probably just establish Wildwood Symbiote on this and then see what we can do. Getting Deathrite Shaman here. It's probably, yeah, I was about to say, it's probably also safe to play the Cradle. And then we will just get this guy to set up for Reclamation Sage twice next turn. And at this point, like, I'm rubbing my fingers, I'm like, oh yeah, let's take out this entire mana base. Let's send him back to the Stone Age. He plays deck Faden, and, like, what do I care, really? I just hope he doesn't find Force of Will. Because if he finds Force of Will, then it's annoying, but thanks to Pendelhaven, even if he Force of Wills this guy, we can still take out the deck, which he doesn't know. Visionary is also a card I really want to have, but at this point I would just get this guy out there. This also means, by the way, Julian, that might have been a mistake. I don't know. Like, doing it like this means that I can't use the Pendelhaven. Actually, no, forget what I said. We can still untap the Dryad Arbor because he can bounce the Quirion Ranger. So we are just maximizing the mana that we get off Gaia's Cradle. And if this resolves, then he's in so much trouble, but I fully expect him to Force of Will. Yeah, he Force of Wills, pitch. What is he pitching? He pitches Tezzerator, Agent of Bolas, which makes this even weirder. But I guess it's a reasonable card to have in the Tezzerator deck. It's just, it's been a while since I've seen it play out like this. Usually they call themselves Tezzerator, but they're usually just a stompy deck that uses Sword of the Meek and the Foundry. But yeah. So here we're just untapping the Dryad Arbor, playing the Pendelhaven, and taking out deck Faden after replaying the Quirion Ranger with the floating mana. At this point, we've got a really, really good board. We might just race him while he's down to, like, 3 cards, 3 lands, basically, and 3 cards in hand. Tundra, okay. Master of the Ethereum is certainly not scary. And see, this is where I want to arrive when I play Elves. Like, I want to set up a board where I don't really have anything amazing, but I'm drawing 3 cards a turn and they are drawing 1 card a turn. It's just a numbers game at that point. You're basically like you're like a young Pyromancer deck, but instead of making extra tokens, you just draw extra cards. If that makes sense. And yeah, I think we drew like 4 cards this turn now. It's pretty obscene. And he draws like Mishra's Bobble. See, that's how does that compare? He gets to look at a random card from our hand, and then we go back to drawing 3 cards a turn. Like, you get Ancestor Recall every single turn. That's the crazy part about this. He draws an extra card. Ooh, no Terminus, no Terminus. At some point, you could also, like, on a board like this, if for some reason you believed that you needed to start attacking, you could stop drawing extra cards, just send in your elves and a Dryad Arbor, and then he blocks one of them, and then you bounce that and replay it. And that would net you, like, 1, 2, 3, 4 damage a turn. So if for some reason that's what you think is called for, you could do that. But we're instead just gonna... I think I can take him out here. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I think I can do that. 7, 8, 9. That's why 7 is... No. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. That's so stupid. And he's got another first of all, pitch Thoughtcast. Oh, that's very thoughtful of him not to cast that. And could he even have... Yeah, I could have casted that. Oh, I think he should have actually casted that. Since he's so far behind, like, you're not getting back into the game by casting Force of Wills. So we're like, okay, we just traded for 2 of your cards. We'll just go back to draw to Ancestral Recalling every turn. I recently heard that I also have younger audiences, so suddenly I feel like, oh my god, can I even curse anymore? I don't know. And see, and we draw another Mask Counter. So even if he draws Force of Will now, like, what's the point in it? Like, what do you want to draw? I guess you could draw Ensnaring Bridge, but... Ensnaring Bridge would be an interesting one because we don't have Reclamation Sage anymore, and if he manages to hide behind Ensnaring Bridge for a long time, then we have to actually have to Death Ride him out, which we probably would be able to do anyway as soon as next turn. We've got 4 Glimpse, 3 Natural Orders, and we can even discard Green Sun at the end of turn. But instead we just draw the big guy. I think I will probably still lead on Glimpse. I don't have to. I'm just gonna get him down. Yeah. Can you guys hear? Actually, you guys can't hear these sound effects, right? Oh, okay, I see. We will fix that for the next game. But for now, we won this first game. So let's see. How do we concede? No? Oh, that was the first game. Okay, let's jump into the second game. For the second game, I took out a Kradav Behemoth and brought in Progenitus. I brought in 3 Abrupt Decays for 2 Nettle Sentinels and a Heritage to it. And I brought in Scavenging Ooze because, as I mentioned, he's probably got sort of the Meek and Top the Foundry. So that's what we are trying to fight here. Let's look at our opening hand. It's okay. Like, it has Cradle and Initial Mana Sources and a way to deal with potentially Chalice if he plays that. And it's got potential, like it's already once again got half of the best friends too, or if you draw Wirewood Simbit, it can also draw into like crazy stuff like Reclamation Sage if you need to. So overall, I'm feeling pretty good about this hand. Yeah, let's look at our card. We actually don't get to see which card, which I think is the proper way. There was a huge discussion about the source, about whether you actually get to see the card that your opponent sees with Mishra's Bubble or not. And I thought that the correct answer was that you actually don't get to know which cards they saw from your hand, which is much easier to do on Magic Online than it is to like make sure on paper. It's like you can't turn your head away from your cards and believe in your opponent to like trust your opponent to only look at a single card. But yeah, there are ways to do that. But please don't start a discussion about that. Like we had a huge multi-page discussion about that where even like judges weren't agreeing on whether you get to see the card or not. Oh, by the way, he made a pretty good play. He activated Mishra's Bubble on our turn, so he only draws the card on his turn. So if for some reason we had this card, we wouldn't be able to discard that extra card. Okay, he gets Sword down, which doesn't really do anything. It's like pretty embarrassing. And I think I'm just gonna draw, like, I would think that I would just either draw an extra card or, I think, no, you get the Wirewood Symbiote down first, yeah. Yeah, it makes sense to get the Wirewood Symbiote down first. Oh, and here's Force of Will. Because next turn you can decide whether you want Reclamation Sage or Wirewood or Elvish Visionary. But since he took it out, we don't get to do anything. Which I guess is the correct play. Yeah, I guess it's the correct play. And here comes Thoughtcast. Extra card. Oh, he likes his mocks. Dispatch. That's a card I haven't ever seen in Legacy, but it gets the job done. It's like a better path to exile at this point. Drawing this guy is actually quite important, otherwise he would have needed to committed this to Dryad Arbor. We might, yeah, I was about to say we might actually still do that because we want to get Relia out of the Glimpse of Nature next turn. And he hasn't presented anything that we care about. Like if he has Top-Down Foundry here, that's annoying, but it's not like a couple of Top-Downs are actually gonna kill us, and we even have a Abrupt Decay to eventually just like put a stop to that. And here we're just trying to draw a couple of extra cards, but he has the Force of Will. Like, once again, this is exactly the kind of position I want to get into. Like, what do I really care about him having that? Like, I've got more Must counters than he can draw forces in a reasonable amount of time. And here I'm taking... No, I'm not taking out the Sword of Fire of the Meek because he doesn't have the Top-Down Foundry. Oh, yeah. If I didn't have these two Abrupt Decays, I would have taken out the Sword of the Meek because the Top-Down Foundry would be an annoying top deck without these Abrupt Decays. But with the Abrupt Decays, I'm feeling pretty confident in just like wanting to draw another one of my Must counters, which at this point are 3 Natural Orders, every Senate, so there's like 3 Senates left, 4 Wirewood Symbiotes, and even Reclamation Sage is a pretty good draw here. It's not a Must counter, but like we've got at least 10, maybe 11 cards that are absurdly good to draw here, and I'd rather draw towards those with an extra draw step than hoping that he doesn't draw the Top-Down Foundry to go with the Sword of the Meek. And, well, there's the Top-Down Foundry, but since, like I mentioned, we have the Abrupt Decays, we don't really care much about that anyway. And there's Natural Order. Okay, so at this point we have a decision to make. Do we Natural Order or do we Abrupt Decay the Top-Down Foundry? From the top of my head I would think that Natural Order is 19, usually on a board like this, but then we can fetch the extra Dryad Arbor if it's still in the deck. So it would be 22, but that's good enough for him to survive if he sacrifices a bunch of artifacts. Okay. But I can also, yeah, I'll see, this is the much better play. So what I'm about to do here is I'm gonna get Progenitus, I'm pretty sure, and we'll take out Top-Down Foundry in the same turn. It's annoying because he still gets to go beyond 20, but we also have a couple of extra attackers and another Abrupt Decay, so it looks like we're gonna end the game in 2 swings. Whereas if we had gotten the Behemoth, we wouldn't be able to kill him like entirely, and then he's got a bunch of jump blockers for our 5/5, and potentially even like the Sword of the Meek, even though we can take that out. So I think you win either way, but this one feels much safer, like much safer. You first take out Top-Down Foundry, give him a little less information, but I guess he already knows what's about to happen. So he goes to 22, and then we get the big bad guy. Actually, I don't think Progenitus is that bad. It's probably like Chaotic Evil. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, it is bad. Or is it? Like, what's the lore behind Progenitus? Is it like, actually, like, does it have consciousness, or is it like just these... What are they? Are they snakes? Hydras. Oh yeah, it says so, yeah, Hydra. But yeah. He attacks here, which, I guess if you attack here, then you want to re-equip the sword, so you can... Oh, he doesn't. I guess he's already given up inside. He's dead inside. We're just going all in. I wonder if he... No, he's not even going to trade. I think I did the math that if I take out one of his blockers... Yeah, that's... Yeah, because he can block one of them, and then he goes down to... He takes exactly 12, which puts him to 10, so he's dead to Progenitus next turn. So this is the reason I'm seemingly throwing away the Abrupt Decay. You could certainly hold it in case he draws Ensnaring Bridge, which I might have... Like, maybe Thursday Julian is seeing something that Sunday Julian didn't see. But you could make a case for holding the Abrupt Decay in case he draws Ensnaring, which I think that would have actually been the better play. I just really wanted to finish this here. But with the extra Nettle Sentinel, guess that we would have had enough damage anyway. Oh, here comes another Force of Will. Okay, he's got the deck that accelerates into turn 3 and turn 4, turn 5 Force of Wills. Don't know if I wanna be that deck. Okay, so we got there. And I will see you again for the next round.